Everyone has a story, and every story matters. I've had the chance to connect with many interesting people over the years, and everyone has a story. And this show is about the people and the stories that have shaped who I am. Stories that you can't make up. Welcome to You Can't Make It Up. I am your host, Chrissy Jackson. I am a podcasting newbie. I am 23 episodes into my podcasting career. I have wanted to host a podcast for a long time now, so here I am taking the leap. Thank you for taking it with me. If this is your first time to listen, I am a menopausal, middle-aged mom. I love my family. I love Jesus. I love music. I love working out with Peloton. I love the Houston Texans, the Astros, Rockets, Houston sports in general. I am broadcasting, not I am a broadcasting. I am broadcasting from Houston, Texas. My dream is to travel the world and experience the beauty that God has created. And I'm grateful that you're here to listen. What will you learn or gain listening to this podcast? You'll hear real stories you can't make up. I want to encourage you to never give up. Life is hard, but you can overcome any obstacle with perseverance, and we can all persevere. Episode number 23 was inspired by a couple of my listeners, Sam and Sydney, also known as my cousins, who introduced me to the mystery of a little monster with a big personality. You might have seen this little creature popping up everywhere on social media, in the hands of celebrities, in long, winding lines outside of stores. I'm talking about the Labubu. They have big eyes, pointy ears, a mischievous grin full of sharp teeth. You've seen them, a Labubu. It's the monster you can't help but love. But Labubu isn't just a toy, it's a global phenomenon. What I wanted to know is, where did this little monster elf come from? The story starts with Hong Kong artist Casey Lung. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. He was inspired by Nordic fairy tales and elves, and in 2015, he brought the world of the monsters to life in an illustrated book series. Labubu was a part of this world, a kind-hearted, playful, elf-like creature whose good intentions sometimes lead to a bit of chaos. He's the kind of character who means well, but might accidentally knock over a pile of books or forget where he put his keys. The real magic, however, happened when Labubu teamed up with the Chinese toy company Pop Mart. Pop Mart is famous for a specific kind of product, and if you don't have kids, you might not know what that product is, but it's the blind box. If you've never encountered a blind box, here's how it works. You buy a box without knowing exactly which toy is inside. It's like a lottery ticket for a toy collector. It adds an element of surprise and exclusive thrill to the hunt. This strategy, combined with Labubu's unique charm, turned the toy into an instant sensation. But if there's one person we can credit with supercharging Labubu's fame, it's Blackpink's Lisa. And for those of you who don't know who Blackpink is, I did not know who Blackpink was, but in my research, I discovered it's a South Korean girl group, or K-pop, and Lisa is one of its 4 members. And when Lisa featured the Labubu on her social media, the demand exploded. Suddenly, this charming little monster was on everyone's radar, from dedicated collectors to curious fans. The demand is so high that it's created a full-blown collector culture. People line up for hours at Pop Mart stores searching for the latest releases or those super rare chase figures. This has also led to Labubu-themed events like festivals and markets where fans can come together and celebrate their favorite mischievous monster. And I myself have learned a little about hunting for them from TikTok. But with massive popularity comes a downside. Sadly, Labubu's rise to fame has been met with some controversy. Can't make it up, y'all. Some social media posts and media reports have falsely claimed the doll is linked to demonic spirits. I shouldn't say falsely. I mean, they could be true. I don't know. I haven't seen any demonic spirits coming from the Labubu, but I don't know. But this misinformation has even led to bans in some areas. The U.S. Consumer Product and Safety Commission, also known as CPSC, has issued a warning, not because of spiritual concerns, but because of a more tangible threat: fake, potentially dangerous versions of the toy. That's right, folks, Lafufus. So how can you tell a Labubu from a Lafufu? First, only buy from reputable sellers. Second, pay close attention to the details. Fake Labubu dolls often have inferior quality. You might notice shiny, cheap-looking vinyl, less detailed printing, or a lack of the nuanced dimension that the official toys have. The quality is definitely not the same. And that brings us to the end of my dive into Labubu. The little monster shows us how a simple design, an ingenious marketing strategy, and a little bit of celebrity sparkle can create a massive global community. From a Nordic-inspired illustrated book to a blind box phenomenon, Labubu proves that sometimes the best things come in unexpected, chaotic, and very collectible packages.
Thank you for listening to You Can't Make It Up. Interested in sponsoring this podcast? Email us, you can't make it up, bcpmedia@gmail.com.
This week in the media, I'm talking about the weight of words. I'm not going to highlight one particular story, but everywhere you look these days, someone is saying something awful about someone else. In the physical world, it's easy to walk away from a mean person. Online, it's much harder. A hurtful tweet can go viral and feel like a personal attack. This is where the debate over free speech comes in. While the First Amendment protects a lot of speech, even offensive speech, it doesn't protect you from the consequences. The distance and anonymity, that word every time, the distance and anonymity of the internet can make us feel like our words don't have weight, but they do. Every comment you make contributes to the overall digital environment. If you see a toxic argument, you have a choice. You can add to the noise, or you can choose to pause. This is a new kind of self-discipline for a new kind of world. It's the discipline to not get dragged into a pointless argument. It's the discipline to choose kindness over snark. It's the discipline to recognize that your digital footprint is permanent and that every post, every comment becomes a part of your legacy. I don't think that our country's founding fathers intended to give America a license to be cruel when they gave us the right to freedom of speech. The real power is not in saying whatever you want, but in knowing when and how to say what you truly mean, and in having the self-control to choose to be a force for good in a world that desperately needs it. That is it for this episode of You Can't Make It Up. Thank you for joining me. You can find me in between episodes on social media. On Instagram, I'm your mom 6868. On X, my handle is CNF77, also known as Boring Christine. If you're on the Peloton app, make sure you follow me there so we can work out together, also known as Boring Christine. Thank you for joining me for You Can't Make It Up. Tune in for a new episode in 2 weeks. Thank you for listening, and remember to be kind. Everyone is going through something you know nothing about.
You Can't Make It Up is a production of BCP Multimedia. This podcast is produced and written by Chrissy Jackson. All rights are reserved.